Good afternoon and welcome to the Media Room at the Dublin Conference 2016. With me today is long-standing parliamentarian Cecil Kirk. Cecil, you're very welcome.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for your time today. Cecil, before we get into the meat of the interview, could you tell me what got you into Toastmasters?
Well, John, one afternoon in September of 1984, I was sitting at my desk doing what I suppose I might now say was formulating strategy.
Excellent.
It covers a lot of idleness, that phrase. But a colleague of mine, Eddie Brown, who was a member at the time of Bray Toastmasters, just suddenly appeared and asked me what I knew about Toastmasters. Well, the answer was pretty brief. So he said, I'm organising a demonstration meeting here at Bank Centre, he said, in 10 days' time, whatever. Will you come? And I said, let me check. So I flicked the pages of the diary right through to see what was happening in 10 days' time, and would you believe it? The page was blank, absolutely. He just looked at me and said, you'll be there then. And that was it. I went to the meeting.
Many a Toastmaster career has started with an empty diary entry. I mentioned you're the parliamentarian for Toastmasters. Could you tell me about the role of the parliamentarian and what is the history behind being a parliamentarian?
Well, I suppose I first noticed the parliamentarian in Toastmasters when I went to the first convention I attended in 1994. And at that time we certainly didn't have anybody in the district who might have acted, or at least seemed to be acting in that role, until 2002, when Angus Gallo Brace, the incoming district governor, asked me if I would be his parliamentarian. And of course, it was easy to say yes, I suppose, if you're being appointed, and it's just as easy to be fired when you're appointed, but I have been the parliamentarian ever since. The role of the parliamentarian is to assist and support the district governor, or as he was, and now the district director, in the conduct, primarily in the conduct of the annual business meeting, or indeed the autumn business meeting as well, and to see that it follows normal business practice as well as what the protocols laid down by Toastmasters International. That's the meat of it.
Very good, very good. And still very relevant today with so many changes that are happening throughout Toastmasters.
Well, I suppose the relevance will always be there because being the parliamentarian is really just administering a set of rules for good business practice and order at meetings.
Okay. Yes, which always are important.
Of course.
To move away from the parliamentarian, when you're not in Toastmasters, what do you like to do?
Oh, I'm an inherent, I think, idler in many respects, but I do enjoy cinema, and particularly the seasons that we now get so frequently in Dublin. Perhaps French Film Festival is coming up very shortly, and in the spring we got the Dublin Festival, and there will be Polish seasons, and from all around the world. I like the international cinema. I've always been drawn towards it. That's one thing I do. I try to get some exercise every day. It gets you out and about. It helps. You meet people you've not met before. The world is full of people who are not quite sure where they're going.
Right.
Judging on the number of times I'm asked for directions. But yes, I just enjoy general conversation, I suppose, and
and could you tell me, are you reading any books at the moment?
Well, I don't read nearly as much as I used to do maybe 30 or 40 years ago, sadly, but currently I'm reading a rather slim volume, which suits me fine, called Extreme Latin, by a gentleman named Henricus Barbatus. And John, I'm sure you've worked out now that his name is actually Henry Barber, but it's full of useful phrases for the 21st century. And there was one I came across recently which I thought might be very apposite now for the incoming President of the United States. Fiat haec pactio. We have a deal.
We have a deal.
You could use that one every day, and profess to be a Latin scholar, I think.
I may need you to write that one down for me.
Well, there are a lot more phrases of that kind, and some are definitely post-watershed ones as well.
Very good.
We won't go too far down that road.
Very good. Could I ask you, you've been in Toastmasters quite a while. Are there any role models that you actually could relate to?
Well, I think role model might be a title you wouldn't particularly enjoy, but I owe a lot to Jim Latin, who was an early, if unofficial, mentor to me in many respects. Jim sadly can't always join us these days. He's in a nursing home, but he's still very engaged with the organisation and likes to get the gossip as well as everything else. And I do certainly owe a lot to him from my early years in Toastmasters. He was always there when I had questions and thought I had problems and everything else. He was there to help sort them out for me.
Very good. And as we know in Toastmasters, having a mentor, having role models and having friends is terribly important.
Indeed it is.
Could I ask you, could you share maybe a favourite quote or story or something from a speech that you can relate to, that you enjoyed?
Oh gosh, in 30 years I've heard so many speeches that I enjoyed at the time, and sometimes when the content fails you remember something else. Only a few weeks ago I met, after quite an interval, Seamus Foley, who was former President of Fingal. And every time I see Seamus, I'm reminded of a speech he did many years ago. It was a humorous speech entitled Artichokes for a Pound. Now, it's all in the title, if you break it down. And every time I see Seamus again, I remember how much I enjoyed the speech without really remembering it in detail.
Very
but
good.
he's there and he personifies it for me. That's one instance.
Yes.
Mhm.
Perfect. Well, what I'd like to finally, just before I finish up, ask you is, there are a lot of people who have joined Toastmasters for a variety of reasons. What advice would you give to someone who's starting out on a Toastmasters journey?
I would say look for every opportunity at the meeting to say something, and don't feel pressurised into saying it. You know, get the hand up at a topic if you have a view that perhaps is contrary to the one you just heard or something like that. There's always room for that in Toastmasters. And it gets you going,
Brilliant. Well, that's great advice. And as we know, Toastmasters is always a safe and friendly environment where you are practicing your public speaking skills. Cecil, thank you so much for talking with me today. You've brought me on a journey of reading Latin books, talking about gym Latin, and you've given me some top tips for working through the Toastmasters journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John, and a final word. Sit iocundus tibi dies. Have a nice day.